Hello, ladies and gentlemen, to us, our GeekVerse. We are back for X-Men 97, Episode 8, the first part of the three-part finale. Tolerance is Extinction. I'm the Clown Prince of Radioactive Blood Trash now, and I'm joined by...
I am a space cowboy, Kirk Patzer.
Check out our Fall Guy review, which is there on the feed as well.
I'm the Beacons Are Lit, Dylan Musk.
I'm the Nimrod Sexbot, Taylor Field.
There you go. For anyone, if you've ever watched Return of the King and thought, hey, is that actress that plays Rosie, Sam's soon-to-be wife, his actual wife? It is not. There you go. A little precursor.
Don't let Kirkland tell you otherwise.
Yeah. Kirkland and Movie Facts. Leave the trivia to, us up here. But everything you need to know is down below. Links, video, audio, Patreon. Head over there a little bit later because we did a double review. Like I said, Fall Guy non-spoilers review and the spoilers discussion is up there. So go check that out. And support us over there. Get episodes ad-free, exclusive episodes. There's 2 right now. If you're into X-Men, we're doing the Season of X. This week we just dropped the X-Men Fantasy Draft Part 2, the Villains Edition. You got Magneto, fucking Mojo, Bonebreaker, Mystique, Sabretooth. There's a really fun roster and some really good picks and lots of steals. I think it's a draft with some of our most steals going on, so a good time there. But we're here to talk about the beginning of the end. Dill Musk, what did you think of Tolerance is Extinction Part 1?
That's the one. I thought this was a fantastic episode. There was so much going on. Like, I feel like every character got to do something, whether that was action or it was some more character work. There's kind of a mixed bag here, but I just thought there was something for, well, pretty much everyone. One character is still missing, I'll say, but I had a really great time with this one. I like to kind of get some more. I don't really want to spoil much, but yeah, just getting to see more with some of the villains going on. There was, I'll just say, fun cameos in this episode. I'll put it that way. And yeah, this is like, to me, the perfect setup for the finale and for the 3-parter, both as like 2 separate entities, kind of really getting me jazzed up about like, man, this is going to be quite the challenge for the X-Men to overcome. And what a perfect way to kind of bring them together against this cause. So yeah, I think this was a really successful episode at what it was trying to do, and it was just a fun time overall.
Taylor, would you agree?
I would agree. Yeah, this is a very, very thrilling and exciting Kickstarter to our 3-parter. I really, really enjoyed it, and I think that it really cements us in for a thrill ride that's to come. It gave me kind of vibes of a previous arc that we got in season 5, but I feel like this did it much better, much better.
I want to clarify that. Lots of season 5 vibes with this episode.
The phalanx. But I think that this. I think that this episode was just really scary at times, very horror-esque, which was just very cool. There's one scene in particular that was just giving me creepy vibes that I was really digging. And yeah, just other things and moments in this episode were just really, really cool. And a lot of surprises, too, that I was not expecting. Maybe some cool draft updates for at least one person I know in particular. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about this.
Don't know what you're talking about. Kirkland.
Speaking in riddles over here.
Yeah.
Silver tongue.
Yeah, man, this episode was a fucking banger. This, like, we're getting close to the end of this season here, and like they know how to do a season finale. Like this is the part 1 of 3, right? For these last.
Let's wait for part 3 to just absolutely shit the bed.
I might be getting ahead of myself here.
They know how to end it. Yeah.
I might be getting ahead of myself here, but it seems like a finale type threat that we're introduced to here now, and we were introduced to them in the previous episode, but to actually like feel the effect of what Bastion is up to is just. Taylor, you said it. It's definitely horror, like with some of those shots that were shown. There's a specific elderly grandma that was just terrifying in this episode. Oh yeah. But I thought it was
helping his grandma move ever again after this.
I thought this was such a fantastic episode. One of you already highlighted just a lot of different characters kind of get their own moment in this episode, and I thought that was lots of fun to see. what else can I say? Non-spoiler wise, it's just like the action as well. Like it's been a reoccurring thing that I've mentioned so many times throughout the season that we've been talking about. Is just the animation on these action sequences are just so beautiful. There's a specific moment with Nightcrawler that just got me so hyped, and it's like I don't think I've seen Nightcrawler really pop off like this at any point in the animated series, at least to this full extent. So, yeah, it got me juicing. It got me excited for next week. Like I'm super humped. I'm super pumped.
I'm super hung, guys.
It's got me feeling things.
So I'll let you know, everyone out there, I'm super hung. Not single though, so sorry, can't have any of this. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think I'm the least hyped out of all four of us, but not because of cons, just because there's still certain stuff. It's one of these things that this was great, but I still I'm waiting. I don't think they're going to drop the ball per se, but there's just some things even this episode I'm like, okay, I really want to see how they follow up in the next two, because there's even a certain storyline where I feel like we're going down a route and I go, I didn't feel like we were going down that route a couple weeks ago. Now it could just be taking us for a ride, could just be whatever it may be. So I think as a episode, it's great. I think for me, as usual, there's lots of action here. I think it's good action, but I always prefer the character or relationship drama. So that's why even if this episode is maybe a two-thumber as well, it's like there's other episodes I rank higher because this is just stuff I enjoy more, certain dynamics. But I think it was great for setting the stage. I think it did a great job of giving, like we talked about last week, but if you're not someone on the internet, you're just watching this, I think it did a very good job of explaining who the main villain is, why they're doing it, the whole origin, but also not feeling too much like exposition. I think they did it very good ways. This felt like saying it's a setup episode, I feel like always is like an insult in a way, like, oh yeah, it's a setup episode. It could still be a good setup episode, but that's what I thought was with tons of action, and I'd say like the last 15 to 10 minutes and all good stuff, some really good set pieces for some characters. So yeah, I'm very curious, and the ending, one in particular thing is just I'm very excited to see what this means for these next two, but I also feel like they're doing a good job of, it feels very much like seasons that knew they were getting other, or shows that knew they were getting other seasons. It feels like not all this could be possibly resolved in 2 episodes, and that's not a negative. I just feel like they're going to be even setting us up for a season 2. I hope that, don't work the animators too hard. I hope it's not something that's like 2 to 3 years away. I hope it's not one of those situations that we get with shows nowadays, but if it is, alas, whatever. But yeah, no, continues to be great, continues to be good. So up with the upper echelon episodes, but lower in those episodes for me. So anything non-spoiler?
Mm-mm.
All right, let's get into it. 3, 2, 1. Gonna take an ad break, and then we'll be right back. And we're back. Where do we want to start? You got Bastion, you got McNeil, you got Xavier, you got relationship drama, you got Cable. There's tons of avenues here where we want to go down.
How about we talk a little about a Cable and that sort of storyline? Because I feel like we finally got to see more of Cyclops and Cable, and that kind of more interactions between them and Jean. And I thought that was a really fun trio in this episode, especially when they go on that little adventure together with the Blackbird. And that goes down, and then there's just a Porsche in the Blackbird, which was like a shocking revelation.
Smart,
to me.
I guess.
But then they just let it smash. When I feel like, Gene, you could have saved that. I saw you save throw an entire building, so you could have saved this vehicle. But even just like Cyclops, like using that as like his powers as like a drill to go through there. But yeah, just like the team up of like even Cable kind of pulling him up and just getting more of these dynamics there. And yeah, just seeing this like. That is the description of a dysfunctional family right there. We have Cyclops and Jean in that complicated situation, and then their son is here, but it's like not technically the son of one. It's so messy in the best way possible, but I like that they, were kind of forced to work together here, and I like that they went on this whole journey together. It's not even talking about the whole section of Bastion's mother, if that is even his mother. So yeah, just I really love this whole kind of adventure with that trio in this episode.
Yeah, I agree. Seeing, the Summers family popping off, it was an interesting dynamic where you have Cable, like all just rough and rugged, and Cable as we know him, like he is the same there. You have his father, and then like the clone of his mother. It's just an interesting dynamic, especially how Scott
the
and
clone of his mother, calling Jean Grey a clone. How dare you?
Okay.
right? If you think about it, right? You think
Eh,
about
it's
that
still right
science.
though, right? Like
Would you
if-
refer to Jean
There-
Grey as
How
a
else would
clone
you
of
say
Madeline
that,
Because
though?
she maybe Madeline. Well, no, never mind. I was gonna say maybe she was the real one.
I guess you'd say the originator of his clone mother. But it's like that's.
Yeah.
I think how you worded it is fine.
That's proper nomenclature.
Just
Okay,
wanted
sorry.
to
Oh.
clarify. No.
Fair enough. The original species that that started what his mother came from. Yeah, it's just an interesting dynamic, especially how her and Scott have been, not in the best of place recently, and then you throw Cable in there, but they were able to kind of just put that to the side and just focus on the task at hand. And I feel like Jean as a character, like seeing her pop off, it seems abnormal just because I'm so used to her not really being there, like in the action. But when she's like multiple times, like you mentioned, Dylan, when she's kind of steering the vehicle there, but not only that, when they're in the Blackbird and like these whatever they're called, the human sentinel things are just like surrounding the Blackbird, and she's just able to like just get rid of them like so easily, and she is just such a powerful character, and I feel like it's easy to forget because I just don't always see her highlighted in that sense. She's not usually like the one on these missions, at least what was shown in the original show. So really great to see her pop off here, and yeah.
I think that even she puts Cable's seatbelt on.
Yeah, that's funny.
And that whole sequence, like, I just love that Cyclops was just trying to be like a cool dad. Like he was just trying to be like the coolest guy around. I feel like he was trying to impress his son in a way. He was also fulfilling the mission, but I just love all that dynamic between them. It's like it's so great that these characters finally have personality after all these seasons. And I know we've been getting it this whole season, mostly from Cyclops, but I just love their whole dynamic. The theme too in that action sequence at the car, it kind of integrated into that big action theme, was so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I liked everything with them. I do like the dynamic. It is a fun one. My only holdup was it feels like they're getting Scott and Jean really chummy again. Like even at one point he had his hand around her hips, and that's where I was like, I thought even last week they're having this conversation about how this time things are different and we can't come together. And then you also have Jean talking about she's going through this whole revelation of can you love someone but not be blood? And then they talk about how, well, blood isn't family. Family's who you choose. So that's why I'm like in a waiting to see, okay, is there going to be an event, going to be something that breaks them apart again? Go, oh, really? This shouldn't be the route? Because as I've said, I just feel things kind of get hunky-dory between Jean and Scott. One, I feel like we've been there before a lot. And two, it just was not what the season's been setting us up for so far. They've been kind of hitting us over the head of they want to work it out, but there's all these issues of why they can't right now. So that's why I'm kind of having to see, even if they do get back together, maybe I'll feel better about this later on. So all the dynamic stuff, that's great. It's the strange bedfellows thing. It's how do they act against one another. But there's just some things I don't think were jiving with me of what they've done so far. It just felt like Jean and Scott, who even last week were they were talking, but there was still like a sense of like awkwardness. Felt like it was kind of gone. It felt like they were a couple and the Cable thing happened. And it's like, oh shit, like that felt like the driving force, and it felt like their personal things had gone away. And that could because the world, whatnot, but it doesn't matter. They're like at the crime scene in Genosha, and they're standing on dead bodies talking about like, hey, should we keep dating? So it's not like they haven't done this before. So that's where I'm a little, I won't say worried, but like mixed on it so far. And I got to see what happens, because I still don't think they're going to end up together. I still don't think Madeline Pryor's dead. Even this episode, they made sure to cut Jean off before she said the D word. I think that reveal is coming. So maybe that will be the kicker. Maybe that'll be, they could have worked it out, but she sees Madeline and go with her. But so I'm TBD on the full scope of this. But as far as all the action stuff, them getting together, doing investigating stuff, Cable, just like I love when the grandma walks away and he's like, all right, we'll play along for a bit. Like all great stuff. Like all the dynamic they had there, just perfect. So
yeah, I think getting all three of them kind of together as a family and doing a really cool action sequence, just fleeing in their the Blackbird and having the Porsche just being really, really randomly blasting out of the explosion was really, really cool. But I think it was neat, and I think what justifies them to kind of be maybe getting closer between Jean and Scott is the fact that Cable is there, and we get a little bit of
son though.
It's not her son, but we get a little bit of time where Jean is she's talking about these memories of him kicking inside her and everything like that. So she
Yeah, I love that
feels
scene
that.
with her and Nightcrawler. That was
Yeah,
really
so
good.
she feels this connection to him, even though it's not her son. So I think that adds a little bit more to why she's feeling a little bit closer to Scott at this time, just with Cable being around. But I do still believe that Emma Frost is gonna sneak in there. And
You think
Scott's
Emma
gonna-
Frost? So I'm on the Pryor train. You're on the Frost train. I think if Frost
like-
happens, that's not till next season. I don't
Yeah,
think she's
well, I
waking
mean-
up being like, "Where's Scott?"
I like the Pryor idea a lot, because then I want Jean to end up with Logan. That's what I'd like to see.
Well, you're playing a fool's game then. They didn't never end up together. They might have a couple sessions, but I'm telling you, by the time the show ends, she will be back with Scott at some point. Like that will be or there'll be a throuple. They'll never let them do a throuple. That's my favorite incarnation,
The
as
old
I've said
throuple.
before, where they just all agree just to date each other, and it's like this is perfect, you know.
What did you guys think of the explanation of what happened with Cable and Bishop? And that Bishop, like when they went through the time portal, they got separated, and then it's like, well, I don't know where Bishop is. Moving on. I just feel like Bishop's really getting the short end of the stick in this season, and it doesn't really make sense to me. I don't know why they would like, and maybe this is my fault, but like I don't really know why they'd market him as like a member of the team if this is like if they just have no plans or ideas creatively for what they were going to do with him as a character.
If your name starts with a B, Bishop Beast, we got nothing for you here at 97. You know, we might throw you a little. Oh, this reporter
Beast
kind of
gets
likes
like
you.
a small little bone today. He
Yeah,
gets
but
a
even
little
then, it's just
something.
like it's not like it's like it's pretty comparable. Yeah, I thought it was odd too. It's one of those like weird timeline things. Like, how do you never link back up? And then like it's weird, and I can't remember if that's way in the comics. So excuse me, but it's just like Bishop has someone that can fix Cable, right? And then all of a sudden they get separated. So then who looked after Cable? Like someone just found this dying baby. It's like, I know how to fix this because we talked about like who's Bishop gonna bring this baby to? Well, I guess nobody. I guess maybe he like got them to the facility and he pulled away. I thought it was very easy, which is also odd because like I feel like they've interacted in the show, right? Or am I wrong? In the original series,
Cable and
Bishop and
Bishop?
Cable. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. In like one of the first Days of Future Past.
And I
sequences,
guess you
no?
can do that time travel bullshit, right? Where it's like, well, this Cable hasn't interacted with Bishop, right? Because there's always people coming from, like we talk about Forge, right? Like, how many different Forges have we
Yeah,
met
let's go with
throughout? So
Forge, yeah.
I guess in this time, and they are playing a bit more with the MCU rules because I think we're luckily not going to get Gambit back because Beast did say, he said, oh, Comatage, how do you say that word? Doctor Comatage. What Dylan said. He said they've talked about how there's certain points in times that you can't change, which I absolutely love because that's linking it with the What If episode of Christine dying or the car accident, right? And Strange can't change that. So again, that MCU time travel is a little murky because there's things that go against that. But I think that's them insinuating that Gambit can't come back because this is a sticking point and they can't change this
He's
one.
done
so
for sure.
yeah, so I liked that confirmation. The Gambit Bishop thing a little, man. I think Bishop will come back, but yeah, he's definitely more on the disappoint. It's tough because there's so much good stuff that's like I can't really ding the show for like it's hard, but it's not perfect, right? So that's where it's tough.
It really feels like they're, at least for me, setting up something with Bishop probably next season. I don't think there's any time to really do that just with the whole Bastion thing right now for these last 2 episodes that we have. But I'm expecting like to maybe not see Bishop for this entire season and then next season kind of just like pick up from his perspective of like where
I found
he's at.
Gambit.
Guys, I can't find Cable anywhere.
Yeah, but I found Gambit. His voice sounds very similar.
Because if that's not the case, it is very bizarre. Like why do you even have to set up the show with like Bishop? Like you could very much just have Nathan be sent to the future in some other way, shape, or form, other than having Bishop literally in the intro like of the show. So you think that he is just like a main X-Men member, even though he's literally just there for taxi service. And terrible taxi, he did not get his person there safely because he just kind of abandoned them, the baby.
And I have been rewatching them because I'm rewatching with the girls. I didn't catch in episode 3. I'm not sure if we talked about this, that him and Beast have this dialogue that the only reason he's there is because his time band is like broken. I had forgotten about that. So one, they don't tell us why, but I think that's it. Where I think I would still be fine if he was in the show, time band broken, and then he were to bring Cable or Nathan, whatever you want to call him, which I did appreciate. Multiple times Cyclops just called him Nathan, didn't call him Cable. There's a few times, but there's like in danger. He's like Nathan, so I liked that. And I just love how Cable's just like, he just looks like a man. Summer still just looks like he's like older than a young adult. But I think that the Bishop thing wouldn't hurt me as much if he wasn't in the main lineup. I'd still, because they need some plot device to get Nathan to the future, right? And if it's not him, it would be Cable or Forge, and Forge was a little busy, so I'm fine with it. But yeah, it was one of those of like, oh, he's a member of the roster, and not
Yeah,
really.
I like the idea that this new that 97 opposed to the original series seems to have a bit more of a fluid roster. Like Nightcrawler is kind of just on the team currently, even though he was around previously, and then Sunspot has kind of become a member. He's in the danger room doing a bunch of training and whatnot, so that kind of makes sense for what the X-Men is supposed to be. But even in that original series, it was just always the same people, and they never really added anyone other than like, Colossus would show up and help save the day once, but he would never actually join the team. He would go back
Would you like
and do
to
whatever
stay
he
with
needed
us?
to do.
No, I have things to do
Yeah.
in Russia. Sorry, I'll be back one day though. We're still waiting.
But in theory, I love the idea that the roster can be more flexible than that, and then they also reflect that via the opening credits. I think is something we talked about too, which is fun. So yeah, I'm curious to see how they continue to do that in like future seasons, because I'm totally cool with a rotating roster, but I do feel like if someone's gonna leave, you should give us like a better reason than. Yeah, I kind of forgot about that time band stuff too, but it's just a bit strange.
Which minor complaint, I hated in the credits that they had Xavier on the roster this time, because it completely spoiled me that he's coming back this episode. Like, just wait till next week. He's going to be there. But the second that he saw him floating in the chair and said Professor X, like, well, I know he's going to show up. And what did my boy do? He crashed and whatever
We kind of knew he was coming from last week.
But I didn't know for sure this episode, right? There's still a chance he could have been at the finale,
Fair
just like
Storm doesn't even show up yet. So
yeah, and he showed up in that ship that looked very much. What was that ship called in Starfield, Dylan? Remember, it was like the Bug or the Beetle or whatever.
Oh, the Mantis.
Yeah, the Mantis. Yeah, it's like his helmet. Like it looked very Manti. Yeah, he's back. Not great timing. He showed up just after the mansion has been destroyed, so he lost the school, lost that pretty painting. I'm sure they'll rebuild it. Team is shattered, all over the map, and then obviously someone's declared war. We'll get into that, but yeah, he's back. I still thought there was a chance they would save him, but then once I saw what they did with Magneto, I went, okay, that's why they're not. I still would have preferred him to wait till the finale, and then season 2 we get reaffiliated with Xavier and the team, because I thought it might be Magneto and the team still. Obviously, it's not. I think we are going to get to the Civil War situation. And the other thing we did learn is Bastion and company leaked that Xavier was alive and was not assassinated by Garrick, which was a really risky thing to do, because they knew he was not dead, or they had an idea that he could not be dead. And just to let people believe that Garrick assassinated him, now more than ever, people are not trusting the mutants at all. So I don't know who made that call on the X-Men to let him take the
Scott call.
Well, then Scott shouldn't be the leader, because that was a bad call. You just say, we don't know what happened. He's missing or he's dead. But to throw it on him, because now it looks like this guy who's big FOH guy is oh, he was right. He didn't kill Xavier. These mutants are fucking liars. So, but I love it for the show, because now they're all-time low. I feel like the mutants, again, they were building and now back down.
Yeah, makes for the drama for sure. Yeah, I mean the Xavier thing. I guess I kind of saw. I'm more surprised that Storm somehow hasn't been able to reconvene with the team yet. And maybe that's just the way they pace the episodes, and we're supposed to believe that the end of the Life Death Part 2 is gonna be right now, I guess, or I don't know. Because she saw that event on TV. So, what has she been doing in the meantime? It doesn't really make any sense.
The show makes it look like Xavier calling her as her oh my God, they need me. But it's are you telling me she saw that? And then her and Forge,
and of course, one of the people he connects with is his beautiful Storm.
Beautiful
His
Storm.
beautiful
Yeah.
Storm.
First person he saw, oh my X-Men. But what, did her and Forge still go to the beach after? They intended?
Definitely.
They must
Jeez.
have, yeah.
They got sand crevices.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
They were taking horseback rather than flying, I guess, is what they decided to do. But yeah, I don't know. I definitely see where your point is. I think we're set up for some pretty fun stuff though with with Magneto just like off the deep end in a good way, and
Yeah.
then Xavier back with the team, but like things are shattered big time. And I mean, we're still in the middle of a battle when he gets there too, so it's gonna pick up with a pretty like spicy battle, I'm sure again. But yeah, I definitely see what you're talking about here. I guess I gotta see how the rest of the season plays out to see how I feel about it at the end of the day, because I think we definitely still in hindsight, I wish we got a bit more time of just Magneto being the leader without there being some huge world-ending stakes.
Yeah, and I also hope next week is not just half the episode Xavier focused with the team. It's like I do want that, but not in this 3-part finale where you just got Bastion. And I'm assuming Bastion's gonna get killed off in the finale or whatever, defeated, right? I don't think he's gonna be a cliffhanger for season 2. Maybe he is, and I'll change my mind, but I don't want it to be like a big I just could see 15 minutes of him talking to each character and giving them words of wisdom. It's like I feel like that's a season. Like let's do that in season 2 after the battle. That's just my only word. Xavier coming back, because we talked about how many episodes in the original series he would take up, and I mean I think they don't do that because I feel like they haven't done that with Wolverine. They haven't made him like the main character, so I hope they don't with Xavier. And it's like a good balance, you know.
For sure.
What did you guys? There's a very quick scene of Sinister, and he's talking about how he's using Bastion. He's explaining to Val. Yeah. To me, that seemed like it was a short scene, but it felt like it was very impactful, and I feel like that is where we're going, where Bastion gets defeated in the end or usurped by Sinister in some way. And so I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I still do feel like the through line of the season is that Sinister is like the big bad, and I think maybe he's just lying low right now and letting Bastion do his thing in the meantime, because it's like clearly working. He's pretty powerful. But yeah, I that's still the vibe I'm getting, is that Sinister is going to be the big bad at the very end. He's going to be the final boss, whereas Bastion might be like the phase 1 of that, I suppose.
Really? Okay. I got
Yeah.
the opposite.
The opposite?
Yeah, because I think it's more still going to be Bastion, and they're going to save Sinister for season 2. He's going to have some more plot stuff going on, because he's just always like can slink away. That's what I got from it, that he'll have an eject button.
He'll take like an elevator, like Apocalypse would always do.
Yeah.
Just
So,
down
but he's still
somewhere
got to
else.
have some sort of big juicy moment in the finale, right? Like if you want him to be carried over as the villain, you can't just have him like
I
going
think
down
you
the
could-
alleyway like he did before. Like I
think
he
you could
needs-
see.
We haven't
think-
seen Sinister anywhere. Literally on Scott's shoulder. My
Yeah.
God.
I think you could see like Bastion trying to like make a getaway or escape, or he's defeated, and then Sinister like traps him and like executes him, and then he
Oh my God.
sneaks off or something like that.
Pacta formula?
Like Sinister takes the mantle, or takes like his research or something like that. Like
See, I could see the hook being that's when we get revealed that Pryor is still alive and Sinister has her. And maybe that's where they do put Jean and Scott back together. But if they reveal that Madeline's still alive, that could put a huge monkey wrench into their relationship. So it's just because like I feel if Xavier it's so tough. It's a good problem to have, but you have Magneto now, who's probably adversary. You have Xavier back. You have Bastion, Sinister. I think Magneto they for sure save for season 2. I don't think you can defeat him per se. I just feel like Bastion. It would just feel weird to me if they were to introduce him and then defeat him next week. You know, like I think Sinister sneaks away. I think he's long game, and maybe he's gonna bring back Apocalypse. Maybe that's one of his fucking end goals too.
Mhm. I mean I feel like a 4 to 5 episode arc for Bastion's pretty. That's a lot more than a lot of villains get in the X-Men animated series. I feel like that's still pretty juicy and substantial, and leads to a good finale. And once again, like I feel like Bastion can be that greater like physical battle for the X-Men, whereas Sinister is more like, you know, pulling the strings, the puppeteer, and he's never really been like the strongest in terms of his powers. It's more about like what he's doing behind the scenes, and that's where like I don't know. I don't think I'd like if he had just captured Pryor, and now we're getting like the opposite of the Goblin Queen thing that we got earlier this season. To be like, okay, we're just doing that again, but like reverse. Like that might be a bit too on the nose. So I think it works well if Bastion's kind of like the heavy that they have to fight, but then Sinister is, I don't know, somehow pulling away with a few like chips to his name. I don't know where my analogy is going here, but yeah.
I did like at least his perspective from it, of like, you know, like he's basically getting just free reign to do tests on these
Oh, yeah,
captured
it's wet
mutants,
dream.
right? Like it totally fits well with him. When he first said the line of like, "Yeah, I'm not really working for this guy. Like, I got him right where I want him." I just chuckled because it was just like, of course
Classic
this guy is
Sinister.
saying it. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm not really, I'm not really following his orders."
He did the same thing to Apocalypse in season 4, remember?
exactly.
He was like, yeah, I'm not really a part of Apocalypse plan. I just I want to be here for the beginning of Earth recreated,
Initially, I kind of just laughed at that idea, but I definitely agree that I think something with Sinister is like maybe he's like when he is an immediate threat to our X-Men, he doesn't just like take out like 4 members or something. Sometimes he gets taken out pretty easily, but man,
Yes.
is he resilient. He will always be coming back. First time we saw him, he was just a face in the sand, came back stronger than ever. And I definitely think that'll happen again. He'll just get possibly knocked down or slither away to the shadows and come back even more dangerous. And
Cable has to be the one to do that, though, right? If Sinister gets defeated, quotation marks, in the season. And that's the thing. When you say final boss, Dylan, do you feel like... I feel like in the final episode, if you're right, Sinister could get defeated, but Bastion is like the last big actually like battle they animate and do. Like what Kirk is talking about, how like Sinister usually gets taken out easy. I could just see Cable breaking into some factory. They find Sinister and Cable or one of the Summers just mess. Maybe all the Summers. Maybe they have that. Maybe that'd be a good scene too of the X-Men fighting Bastion and all the Summers with Jean Grey, maybe Madeline Pryor, just messing up Sinister. Like that way I could see if he kind of gets taken out. I just don't think he's the final boss for them because he's not a weakling, but he's not,
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Bastion does make for the much better final fight. And since he's like a robot type guy, like he is one that you can kill, and then it's like, okay, you can like rebuild him in the future if you really want to. But it's like it's someone that you can truly take out. Whereas Sinister is gonna slink away into the shadows, and hopefully it's a bit cleaner than what they've done before for that. But
I honestly, because I imagine like who knows how many seasons the show's goes on for. There's tons of characters, but like I would feel like when 97 ends, that's it for this. Like I don't think there's like we're gonna revive it again. I would like them the next time they kill off Sinister, like kill him, like be done forever, because like I do like Sinister. Not saying I'm tired of him, but I just feel like he should either get away or if he's dead. He's dead this time. Like you got him, because then it almost just becomes a running gag of they just he's a little speck in the sand, speck in the dirt, and then he's like, oh, I'm back, I'm your father again, so.
Yeah, if Gambit's the only person who ever actually dies for good. Poor Gambit.
Yeah. Okay, we talked a lot there. Xavier, Sinister, final bosses. Where are you at?
I mean, Xavier, just kind of having the expectation. I guess the reveal that he's going to be coming back, it does kind of suck. I would have enjoyed it if we didn't know what he was up to and he just landed and it would be like, oh my god, and then we can get like a flashback episode. Like if you were to actually reorganize this so we don't see him at all and he lands here, and then the next episode you get like the flashback of what he was up to. And then you could even make that shorter, make it like
we kind of got that though with the Life Death too, didn't we? Like we took a break from the main action and then like it was.
But I mean, change the order though. So we don't see Xavier at all, and then here we are at this point of the show. Xavier lands to Memax, and we're like, oh, freaking out, like, oh, he's back. And then next episode we can do 10 minutes where it just covers him like trying to get back to Earth, dealing with that. And then the next 10 minutes is him like he's landed, and now we're getting back into like the
only thing I think against that is I don't think that makes for good final trilogy finale.
Yeah, that's
type
the
stuff.
only thing. Yeah,
I think that's
Final
better as
four.
like the setup early to mid in the show.
I think you're right. I think for me the Xavier thing I can't answer until we get these next 2 episodes, because there could be a version of you being right where it's like it could have been a good surprise, but at the same time I was already bummed sometimes, like when we got episode 5 and we had to wait 2 weeks. I still liked Life, Death, and everything, but I was like, man, I just want to know what's going on with Genosha and my X-Men. So like right now from the finale and Magneto's popping off, we're getting all these cameos, and then we got to fucking take a week break for the Shi'ar Empire and Lalandra and everything. Like it could be like a little momentum killer, but I see what you mean. Like I said, the jury's out for me on Xavier. See what difference he makes, because I feel like. Does anyone think like, oh, let's talk about Magneto? Does anyone think he's getting taken out this season? Like I don't. So I just feel like I feel like he's back so they can again run back the Magneto versus Xavier. I think they're gonna do fatal attractions like many other people. I agree that we talked about this, right? If Magneto found out the humans were involved, technically they are, right? Because they made the Sentinels, which made Master Mold. So like in Magneto's process of elimination, he's gonna go, oh, the humans did this. This is still a human person. We said, and it's gonna like fall fatal attractions where he's gonna come back even more evil. So that's where I'm all down for that. I still wish we got a whole season of him being bad, but if that's the case, I'm just curious what he's gonna do these next 2 episodes with Sinister and Bastion still running amok. You know, I don't know. I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I was kind of getting the vibe that these next 2 episodes are really going to be all the mutants, Magneto and his new squad, X-Men, their current squad, and anyone else, like, the cameos, for example, those type of characters popping in and getting like your end game sort of moment where they're all fighting against these robots, against Bastion and Sinister, and that's that. And then, next season is where we truly get we'll get that dialogue from Magneto, and him and Xavier will eventually talk, maybe in the finale, maybe right near the end of the finale.
Yeah.
And they'll have that deeper conversation. We'll find out that they're not going to be able to see eye to eye on how to resolve this going forward, and that's where they go their separate ways. Magneto doesn't kill anyone on the way out or anything. And then in season 2 is when we can dip more into that, where he has his Brotherhood of Mutants again, and we get to go down that kind of route of it. I just don't think there's enough time for us to truly go that deep on that in this particular season with another, I guess we have another hour and a half ish of content, right? But I just don't think with how much we have on the villain side of things, especially with some of these other villains that we got in this too with the cameos, there's a little too much to throw Magneto in there as the true evil guy, I think.
If they go, maybe it won't happen this season, but if they go fatal attractions route, Magneto's gonna fucking kill some X-Men, and it's gonna be real brutal.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening in the
yeah.
future. I don't think this season though.
Yeah, and there's one panel in particular everyone's wanting. Go ahead, Taylor.
I thought that Magneto, because you said they're gonna fight the robots, all that kind of stuff. I thought Magneto just disabled everyone on the Earth.
I thought he was sending out a beacon.
No,
Because
he sent
the
an
X
EMP.
mentioned they were all destroyed, right? Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he sent
Wow, I
out
totally
an
missed
EMP.
that.
Yeah, he's fucking leveled up. So I'm not sure if they could just reboot though, right? Like, is it a thing he depowers them and then
No,
give it
I
half
think
an hour?
I think he totally fried the grid. Like how they keep saying these solar flares are eventually just gonna wipe out the.
It's comic
the
books,
grid.
right? They could just be like, well, Bastion made a special
Gonna happen.
non-EMP.
But I think that's what he's getting to, and he's eventually going to try and whip up that kind of a special Sentinel. I almost got the sense that this activation of these Sentinels was premature. It wasn't supposed to happen right away. It felt like it was just it happened, and it happened before Bastion maybe was wanting it to occur or something like that.
I was a little
Like,
unclear on what the activation was, because at first I thought it was just proximity, like if they are close to mutant DNA, then that's when the kill switch turns on. But then it seemed like, well, someone had just turned the switch to activate all of them.
It was Bastion though, Taylor, because he mentions that they talked about Genosha, something else, and the Sentinels, and he said, "What's the most powerful tool? Overload." And that's where he's talking about his examples of the people on Earth can't process all these things at once, and this is the best time to take advantage. So he chose to just have them pop off, just for I think because the mutants are weak, and just to he's just causing chaos out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why he's trying to. I don't know what he's trying to do long game, because the humans can be. It's funny that he's talking about, and I love the speech of humans in the future are going to be non-existent because 10 people building this building can't anymore. When you have a telepath that does this, there's no need for taxis because this teleportation mutant can just do that. So, but the thing is, I don't think the humans are asking well, what are the Sentinels going to do with humans? I feel like it's going to they're going to also extinct them and be their own thing. But Bastion did launch the Sentinels, if I recall, because he was talking about overload. He just wanted to just mass hysteria the entire Earth. Oh, right. It was Genosha, the Xavier thing, and Sentinels. That's why he put the Xavier thing out right now, because he just didn't want people to have time to really push things apart or pick them apart, be like, oh, why would this come out and stuff. So this is just an attack plan.
that's
It's Operation
fair.
Zero Tolerance, man.
Yep.
Zero tolerance. On the activation of Operation Zero Tolerance, when we're seeing everyone kind of transitioning and turning, like you mentioned, Kirkland, the grandma was just fucking terrifying. But yeah, everyone else turning, you see the mom turn on the couch and the dad and the two kids like look at each other. It's like, what the fuck? Like that
Terrifying.
was absolutely terrifying. But yeah, Nimrod just decided to come back in time just to sleep with women and
Put a little
kids.
robot DNA into somebody. And both Bo DeMeo, the guy who was original showrunner, he did tweet out 4 episodes to watch. And in both those episodes, Bastion's mom and dad are in those episodes separately, but they chose characters that you saw, like his mom was like speaking at the UN or something like in the original series and stuff. So that's kind of fun that they have mini cameos in the series already. So there you go.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I liked the that sequence when they go to the abandoned house, the little Stark Expo magazine. I thought that was a fun little nod. And then I really liked that element because we talked about this series, like even not understand how Rogue's powers work and how she can just become a doctor by touching this doctor. But I thought it was an interesting power level up for Jean that she could see this childhood painting from Bastion and like go into his mind.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. It was like, and I think that was a clever way to kind of get this origin story, backstory stuff for Bastion as a character. And it's not like mind blowing stuff, something we haven't seen before. But I thought it was pretty. It was well done. It was like a quick enough sequence, like the editing of it. So I liked getting that sequence and getting that information about Nimrod and Master Mold and all that.
And Bo DeMeo and the creators must have been big Man of Steel fans because this is the second time they've recreated a scene shot for shot. The scene with Bastion freaking out his mind, it's identical to Clark's in Man of Steel, and then also Storm's flight a couple episodes ago, identical as well. So the team they loved some Steiner work over there. So
Yeah, the Hunka boys are gonna love to hear
they're
you say
gonna
that.
they're gonna love that. So. But yeah, I liked all that. Love the house, the creepy vibes. I love the build up of it. Very just fun little detective things going on here. I didn't really care much about Jubilee and what Robbie had going on.
Yeah, that's going to be like a bit of a, I don't know, just like not very spicy
It did.
storyline.
Yeah, I don't think I'm still gonna stand by Robbie wasn't needed, to be honest. I think I would have still preferred. I'm not saying in general, maybe season 2, but I would have preferred Beast to get some more time. Bishop, Jubilee by herself. You could do the Mojo episode without him. It's just like, I guess like a fun enough wrinkle that we talked about with his mom that she did just hand him over to the robot, so she did end up being a shitty person after all. But I'm not gonna say it doesn't track, but. It's just, I don't know. It's weird for 2 episodes to go like, I know you were a mutant and that's all good. And now this is like pretty much just fine with her son about to be executed. So don't really know how to feel about all this. And not in a Magneto way of like, oh, I'm anticipating. I'm just kind of like this just hasn't, this could have used more time.
not executed, right? Because the Sentinels landed and were like, "Oh, we're here to protect mutants." And she obviously
Yes, but come
believed
on,
it.
lady. Like, the Sentinel just fucking killed all these mutants in Genosha. Like, I'm sorry. There's no way. Like, if Taylor, you ran a group called, like, the Taylor Friends of Humanity, and all you killed Kelowna. You killed half of Kelowna. I live here. And then you're like, hey, I'm just going to take your child, but hey, they're safe with
But
me.
she doesn't know that's what they are, though, or she doesn't know what their affiliation
fucking-
is.
Yeah, I don't know. They're creepy
doesn't
ass.
know,
Man,
man.
they look pretty
Plus,
freaky.
she also let her son burn down like what 6 homes.
That could have been a
So
joke. We don't
she's
know.
not the brightest parent.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's see what else is there out there.
I mentioned the Nightcrawler sequence. Just wanted to
Yes.
re-emphasize how fucking badass it was to have him just triple wielding the the swords, fighting back to back with Logan. I just thought that was a great sequence. And then because the Sentinels are they're just like immortal. They just keep coming back. He had to get creative and kind of just bamf them out of the room. I thought all of that was really great and made me think of just like, man, that must be so exhausting for him to like just the mental accuracy of like where he's actually bamfing to, and then like going back while also just sword fighting these Sentinels is, man, quite the strain on Nightcrawler. I was just assumed it was just easy, you just snap your fingers and you just teleport here and there.
No, I like seeing that kind of Wolverine perspective of being pulled through that
cool.
teleportation.
Oh yeah, that
fun.
was
Yeah.
great POV.
To see what actually bamfing like, and he's like, oh, it's just that shocked look, and they gave Logan a really good set piece too, of falling out of the sky and just like taking out those Sentinels one
Yeah,
by one.
super
So
cool.
that they gave them both some good fights going on here. So
Yeah, I think Nightcrawler popping off is really cool, and especially playing off of Logan's catchphrase, like "I got 6 reasons," and then
Yeah.
Nightcrawler's like 9 reasons. That was
Yeah.
really cool.
And
Give his
Rogue
little
just
German
passed-
9 on there too.
Yeah. And Rogue just passed the fuck out, not helping at all, you know.
Yeah, she got bopped harder than I thought she did from
Yeah.
the getting smacked into the car, right? Is that what knocked her out?
Hopefully they got her out of that mansion before it collapsed, you know. Would have been all for nothing.
True.
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they showed her. I just
Nightcrawler
can't
Yeah,
remember.
just
just
teleports
off-screen
Logan
death
out,
for
not
Rogue.
Yeah.
That
They
would
had
be
her.
wild.
They had her outside.
Yeah, I know. I said I'm sure she was, but you know.
It
Almost
was
midnight
great.
Kirkland.
Yeah, it is. It's past that point actually.
After 9.
After 9, you mentioned Magneto just totally souped up, has a new ultimate move, just EMPs the whole fucking earth. Wonder how much of that is emphasized with his loincloth look that he had. He's just like straight Speedo. Is that is that a comic book
Less
accurate
clothes, more power.
costume?
I don't think that is. I think
When he was
may
just
see him in a
strapped
Speedo,
on the
but-
X, looking
yeah,
like
literally
fucking
an
Jesus
X.
Christ.
Yeah, they literally, they're
Just
definitely
strapped.
doing that. But like, I just laughed that he literally made it an X. It's like you don't have to do that, but you know, Bastion, he's got flair, you know. So,
He's a very stylish guy. Bastion
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
so I
So
guess it's. Oh, go ahead.
I was
I
just gonna bring up the senator, and
Yeah, Val, that's where I was
doesn't really seem like she's. I feel like at any point that would have been the time to
Yeah.
switch into Mystique, but
She's
didn't
not
happen.
Mystique. Yeah, I just feel like in general, because I feel like she let him go, and then I was like, oh, this is when it's gonna happen. But and especially when she was locked up, and Bastion was holding a necklace. I'm like, oh fuck, he's gonna put it on her and say, oh, I've known this whole time, but he didn't. So I think she is just a senator that. I guess Bastion, because she says like, "Oh, I didn't know it was gonna be that bad." These people always never know it's gonna be that fucking bad. Like, what do you think this humanoid had planned, lady? But yeah, I guess she was just a senator that was scared of mutants, wanted them controlled, but didn't want them executed. So she helped Magneto out. So it's all right. I'm not bummed that I liked that theory. I thought it would have been really cool, but that's fine. And I'm curious to see my final thoughts on her won't be until we end these next two, because if we just never touch back to her, I would find it a little odd because they just locked her up, and I'm like, why does Bastion need her locked up? I feel like he would just murder her in this situation, right? So I don't know. I'm curious to see what does happen with Val.
I'll stay with the prediction that it is still Mystique.
Really?
Yeah. Do
Why
I
do you
have
think they-
evidence for it from this episode? Not particularly, but I'll just do it to be different.
Yeah. Why wouldn't she reveal? Why wouldn't we get the reveal now? Like that's why she'd help out Eric, because like I'm Mystique.
Why would she? What's the benefit?
She wants to know he's still got a friend out there, you know, and so he doesn't kill Val in the future. So he doesn't see Val and just like.
Why would he do that?
Because I feel like his plan is now to kill all humans, no matter how good they are, right?
It's the Speedo, man. Speedo's
Even Val's
just like a
saying
thing.
Magneto's right, and Magneto right is just extinction. Especially when especially if he ever talks to Cable.
I don't know, but who traditionally thinks that Magneto is right? Mystique, right?
That's true, yeah. But I'm just saying, wouldn't she reveal that him so he doesn't kill her? That's what I mean. Like that'd be a good thing for her to
I
get
guess.
out
Do
there.
we know? I'm trying to think about. Even in the original series, they weren't really much of a duo, were they?
No, I think they buddied around here and there, but they weren't like.
Yeah, I
We're
can't
like-
recall like an episode or a scene. I'm sure it happened, but I guess that's more of like a. I don't know. I think of that combo traditionally, but
They're always pounding around the opening credits, but never too much in the episode.
exactly, yeah. So
Yeah, but well,
Maybe
they
they don't
did
really
talk
know each
about
other.
it. They talked about it this season, though, right? Remember with Rogue and Magneto, that's how they met each other when she was with Mystique,
right,
right?
Yep,
so they
true.
did refer back
right,
to that.
you're right.
So
Yeah,
I hope
yeah,
it's
yeah.
true. There's still a chance because I'd like her just to turn to Mystique and pop off and get out of there. But because, like I said, if she's just Val, why is Bastion Eater alive? Like, what good is she now? She's a turncoat,
Mm-hmm.
but she's locked up, not dead. So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
We'll see.
Mhm.
I like there's a good one-liner in there. Hank Wolverine says I gotta talk to Hank about his taste in women. That was good, and yeah, thought the reporter was making a babyface turn. No, she's just a sentinel. Poor Hank. It does really have bad luck and thrown through the wall. That was when the mansion started taking damage, and you know that's fine. I don't know where I am with that. Again, I still wish Beast had a little bit more, but alas, there goes that love interest. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice knowing you.
yeah, they showed the two towers in this episode, or the twin towers. So that caught me off guard. But
Didn't
again, it
catch
is 97. So yeah, there's one part they zoom out. And then all I have is the cameos, but I'll wait to save those if
Yeah.
anyone has anything else to talk about.
I think I'm down to the cameos for myself.
Yeah, so we got a bunch. We got early on in the episode, Bastion just talking to, like, I don't know, the world evil just going on, like probably the masters of evil. But we got what people think is maybe Mrs. Hydra, or I can't remember what her full name is, but something Miss Hydra cameo. We don't know for sure because her figure's not as distinct and she was blacked
Yeah, that
out.
was not in the subtitles, whereas the other one
Yes.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough thing. But then we got Baron Zemo, and then we got Doctor Doom, which is
Crazy.
very interesting. And again, I don't know what they got planned, but just give us an Avengers 99. I'm saying, like, we got Cap last week, we got Zemo this week. Like, I'm ready for it, you know? Very cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was a fun cameo, and right now it's nothing more, but hopefully it does turn into something more. I think that'd be really cool.
And I think it's cool because we, again, talk about predictions, and we said, oh, maybe one or two, but we've gotten tons of appearances from people this season. So, yeah.
It's nice to know that there's potential for more villains that aren't just the ones that we've seen before. I mean, Bastion was already like a new one, I guess, deviated from Master Mold and Nimrod,
Right.
so maybe not brand new in that sense, but like, man, Baron Zemo, Doctor Doom, like that's really exciting. I was hype in that moment, and then you get Spidey later on. Like it was fantastic. Even just seeing Omega Red's like arm, just I feel like if I just got that, I would have been excited, but got a lot more.
Yeah, and then when the EMP got sent out, we got the Spider-Man 97 cameo, or technically it's, I guess people, like, what is the year? I can't remember, 95, but whatever. It is the Spider-Man that is of the animated universe. Then we got Omega Red and Silver Samurai. Just didn't know he was hanging out in New York. I guess he wasn't in New York, right? It was a world EMP, so that's fine. But Spider-Man was great. They had that cameo. I'm hoping he's in like a little bit. I'm not expecting it. My hope would be like maybe he helps out Jubilee and Robbie, but I doubt it. But I just I want that. I am with Brent and Chris that it does suck. I feel like because that Friendly Neighborhood show, they're not going to do a revival yet. But my long-term hope is that they're going to finish X-Men, and then after they might do Spider-Man. Even if they do Avengers show and Spider-Man's in there, because that show ended on a cliffhanger. We still know. And I think Silver Samurai and Omega Red, it was very cool to see. Love Omega Red. I think that's purely for next year or next season. I think they won't pop up these two. I think that's like a, hey, look who's out, look who's still around, you know? So
Silver Samurai is my most recent Marvel Snap card. I just made a deck
Nice.
with them, so
He's a good one.
That was cool to see.
do they got to make a red card over there at Snap?
Yep, of
Yep.
course.
Nice.
He's pretty good too. He got a buff recently, so he's pretty good. now.
Perfect. Yeah. But yeah,
I'm
any
happy.
thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, once again, not really that meaningful. More just like fun cameos.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope it turns into something more. Of course, I would love a Spider-Man
Oh yeah.
continuity.
He was looking
for
good.
Sure.
He was looking good. The animation on him, I was like, oh yeah, it's looking sleek, you know?
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess my theory is kind of proven wrong because I totally misread that Magneto situation. But I definitely thought it was kind of like calling in the troops, trying to get some support going on, and that would be cool. I think getting like all these random people from all over the world to help fight these robots. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. These ones do feel likely to me as possibilities that actually could pop up and do some fighting in these next two episodes. Like Silver Samurai and Omega Red in particular, because we've seen them before. And then Spider-Man, because like, why not? That'd be just so fun, even just for one scene.
I'd love to see Omega Red pop off on some Sentinels. That'd be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Any thoughts there, Taylor?
I just think that the cameos were an absolute delight. Spider-Man just was not expecting to see him swing in there. I thought at most we're just going to get that little Daily Bugle Easter egg at the, what was it, the first episode? That's when we got it? Yeah. So that's all I thought we were going to get. But yeah, Doctor Doom and this whole Shadow Council was just crazy. Was not expecting that. They just kept rolling them out. Yeah, Silver Samurai, even though we already saw him, it was still cool to see him chilling there watching the EMP waves. And then what was the other one? Yeah, Omega Red. Omega Red was cool. I don't expect him to be making another appearance this season. I definitely would agree that he's more of like a season 2 component, but I think it was just neat to kind of roll call all these characters and just let people that are familiar with the show kind of think, oh, okay, they got their sights set, and this is maybe the future that we're going to see here. Some of these characters returning, and even for new viewers to the show that aren't familiar with these characters per se. I mean, everyone I'm sure knows Doctor Doom, but if you see like Omega Red, he looks sinister enough in this scene. You can probably think like, oh, he's gonna be a villain or something like that. Yeah, it was really really exciting, and I'm glad that Marvel is branching out and thinking about how they can kind of incorporate and maybe expand more on these other characters in here that just are put on screen with the X-Men, which is just, it's so cool to see more of the Marvel characters I'm familiar with paired up with the X-Men.
Yeah. Well, and they're returning the favor because I told you this during the movie trailer that X-Men are in the Spider-Man show, but Spider-Man was never in the X-Men show, so they cross that box off. Hopefully, like I said, they could do, even if they didn't get a show season 2, get some actual lines from the actor because he said, "Oh, I'll do it if they ask." I hope he's just being coy, and I hope he's already recorded something because my man got the fucking boot for both Spider-Verses. He better be in Beyond, and if he's not, then bring him here. But and cool storyline reason for Omega Red to be back, right? He's on ice. They got him all locked down, and
Yeah.
Magneto sends the EMP and just screws it all up. So that'll be. I can't wait to see you. I think we'll see him at some point this season or next season. I can't wait to see him with this animation and like some of those action scenes. They could really make him pop off. So
Yeah. No, it's a great like unintentional
consequence.
consequence. Yeah, thank you. Of just his action, right? And even I can't remember who says the line, but like, what did Magneto do? It's like he started a war, and it was just like
Wolverine. Yeah,
oh man, this is we're entering some juice here.
we are.
Enter the juice.
Anything else about this episode? Domas, where are those thumbs at?
I'm putting 2 Fall Guy thumbs right up.
Stuntman. Yeah.
Yep. Great time. Loved it.
I got 2 as well to go with you.
2 perky thumbs.
Perks.
The double, so it gets us to the 8. So
Mystical
we're-
8. You love
Yeah,
to see it.
Jubilee thumbs
And the
going right
fireworks.
there. Yeah, so we'll be back next week for Tolerance's Extinction Part 2. Be a little later because we got apes next week as well, but promise you, we'll be warned.
See ya.
Bye.